Hey, I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Jack with WSOU and you, and I'm here with David and Bobby of Signs of the Swarm. How you guys doing today?
Doing
Good, baby.
fantastic. Yeah.
Good to have you. To hear that, I guess we'll get right into it then. How has the reception to the new album been so far?
It's honestly been truly unreal. Um I'm really hoping that everybody's been loving it as much as the statistics have been showing. We just got our first week's numbers in, and honestly all of our minds were blown. So very ecstatic about the reception of the record.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and we will be talking about that album. But before we go into that album, I was just personally curious. I want to know how you guys both started getting into music and what were your first bands, metal bands that you guys got into just growing up.
Bob, you want to rip that one? Get started.
Yeah, sure. Oh man, it started uh like just driving around in my parents' cars, like listening to whatever CDs, they had. Like I got exposed to metal pretty young, like Korn and Limp Bizkit and like a little more PG metal, a little
Sure.
more chill. And then I think I was like 8 or 9 and my mom just started shouting bands at me. She's like, "Have you ever heard of this band? Have you ever heard of this band?" I was like Breaking Benjamin, then it was Slipknot and all this stuff. And we started going to concerts when I was really young. And then yeah, started playing drums around the same time because I really wanted to play guitar, but I got pushed to play drums. So
Sure.
I
I
got
was gonna
sent down
ask.
that. Yeah, I got sent down that kind of rabbit hole. But yeah,
Mhm.
really young, and then it just took off. Got like started playing local shows, which is how Dave and I met like many years ago.
Oh yeah.
Just playing in like you know crappy local bands and like literally like in basements of like random people's houses and stuff. And yeah, just kept going.
Nice. David, some of
For
you.
me, it's kind of funny looking back on it, because like I fell into the whole like new metal phase because like I really enjoy rap and
Hmm.
hip hop and all that. So I fell into like Limp Bizkit super hard whenever I was younger, and that kind of snowballed into like Linkin Park and just continuously just going and going, But then one of my friends kind of realized that I was in a bad position and kind of took me to my first metal show. And
Hmm.
it was a Harlequin's Voice show. They don't exist anymore. Trust me, I've tried looking. Um, but like, I just saw this like culture of people and everybody having like a sense of like unity, dude. And I was
Hmm.
really missing that in my life. And that's what really made me gravitate towards it. And I really wanted to start a band with my friends. And just like I kind of grew up poor a little bit, so instruments weren't really a thing for me.
Hmm.
So like my friends were like, dude, just like learn how to scream. And I kept trying and trying, and it was miserable, dude. And then my boy from back in the day, Cody, he was like walking with me from the bus stop all the way out to my house because it was like a 4 mile walk. And I was like, dude, I think I'm figuring it out. And like, I was trying to like learn how to scream like Frankie from a mirror, and
Hmm.
that real shrill, like high sounding, like, and like I nailed it. He was like, dude, you got it. We're starting a band. And ever since then, it's just been kind of like just grinding
Sure.
and grinding and grinding, dude.
Yeah, I totally get that. Were you both very involved in like your local? Were you
Oh,
guys?
absolutely. Like I was definitely one of those Mosh Warrior kids. I like there's like videos of like me seeing the acacia strain. You just see my silhouette just pummeling in heads.
Hmm.
Just I was one of those
Yeah,
guys for sure. Um, but
we had
just
a great scene growing up, man.
yeah, growing
Like
up
we
it was an
really did.
awesome scene.
Yeah,
Like
like this whole, I'd say, Pittsburgh, like this, like the tri-state area, like Pittsburgh, some of the cities
absolutely,
in
dude.
Ohio, and
Like cholera,
um,
bro. Like
yeah,
jeez.
yeah, and like I'm from like West Virginia, and we had like a really tight knit like scene here of just like
Hmm.
a lot of like math rock and like just weird stuff that you don't really see anymore.
For sure.
So there's
Yeah.
just a lot of cool bands, and I mean, there were probably like I could probably at the time have named like 200 bands that were
Oh,
playing like
wow.
in the area, like Pittsburgh and all that. And, like every weekend there was, multiple shows going on, and
Nice.
and it was a really, really tight knit scene for a long time. And those people are still around. It's just not as many bands anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody growing up.
Yeah.
I would say that like I mean this could be the case, but like there's a lot of bands just in the New Jersey scene now where like I think I've seen the same couple of bands play the same five venues near my area like over and over again. Would you say that there was more like because now I would say that a lot of the shows that I go to are like primarily hardcore metalcore bands. Was there a lot more like diversity in the bands that
Oh,
we play,
absolutely. For
or
me
there'd be a
growing
lot?
up,
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's like there would be like kind of like that math core, like kind of bands like kind of starting off the bills and then it go fall into some grindcore stuff. Um, large, large amount of like deathcore, hardcore, death metal. A lot of prog from Pittsburgh growing up for me.
Hmm.
Gent was a huge thing during my upbringing. So,
Hmm.
like, but it was always people were always trying to like trade bands in different venues. You know what I mean? Like there'd be like shows at like Roboto, or there would be Scumbags, or there'd be like Blue Violet
The Butler.
Cafe,
The Butler
Butler
Arts
Art
Project.
Studio. Yes,
That was the
dude.
one that I think like when I really started getting into the city, because like I said, I'm from West Virginia, so like once I was
Hmm.
able to start driving like an hour out to the city, um, that place was really popping off then. So like every weekend there was a show, and it was always like it could be anywhere from like 5 to 12 bands. And no two bands usually sounded the same. Like you'd have a couple like hardcore bands that were similar, but
Sure.
there was like, like you said, anything from that to sometimes they'd put like folk bands, like they would just be like, a couple with a guitar that would like open the show
Dude,
or
see, I
whatever.
always loved that
Yeah.
though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like it would just be like
Yeah.
DIY people, and they're like, "Yo, we need a show," and then they would be just playing. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, they'd be great musicians, and it was awesome.
Yeah. And there was no getting paid or anything either. Like that was the whole thing.
Right.
Like everybody did it just for the love of the game. Like, it's just so many sick bands. Like I was just talking to somebody the other day, Dave, about Irukandji. Do you remember
Yeah, I
Irukandji?
do actually.
Dude, it was just like Black Dahlia ripoff, but it was so sick, especially at the time when like not a lot of people were doing that like
Dude,
really
Save Us from
well.
the Archons coming back.
I know. Like that's
That's
yeah.
crazy to
Yeah.
me, dude. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, there's just so much there's so much music, and everybody, I think we're all exposed to a lot of different stuff, and it was really kind of like pick your poison,
For sure.
what you wanted to get into.
Yeah, for sure. And I think definitely when you guys were going to shows compared to when I'm going to shows, there's a much more heavy emphasis on like going to shows and playing shows back then than there is now. Because
see,
I
I
think,
feel like that a lot of
Mhm.
people like use that as an escape in our area because there's nothing to do. Like
hmm
we're both fairly kind of in the woods.
hmm
Um, that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really
I
nothing
have family
around
that
us,
lives in
dude.
Pittsburgh. I 100% know what you mean.
Yeah.
um, honestly, because like a lot of the shows that I'd go to, like in the city, like those were like the iconic ones. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I'd go see like the Acacia Strain or the
Yeah.
Contortionist or Valamaya, like at Altar Bar or at
Hmm.
like Mr. Smalls. Um,
It
but
was
like
only the 6 shows in the city.
right, like
Yeah.
the shows we're talking about are like I like to call it the backbone of my career because it
Yeah.
really gave me a lot of influence and inspiration to kind of one up my friends. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because
And
like
the
even
tickets
the
were like $10.
right, like I remember whenever we played a show, but like I wasn't in Signs at the Butler show, and I was
Hmm.
like,
Mm.
"Yo, I gotta smoke this band." Like, you know
I
what I mean?
remember I remember that exact show. Like I can picture like Yeah, it was right when they built the stage because it all used to just be floor shows for years, and they built this stage that was like way too tall, like
Oh
five
yeah.
feet off the ground.
See, I
Oh
got into
man, yeah.
that scene super late, and I wish that I could have got into it sooner. But us being from the opposite side of the woods, that was tough for us.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, I get that. And then yeah, heading into more sign stuff. Bobby, you've been with the band since the beginning and obviously outside of member changes. How has the dynamic of the band changed throughout the year from when you first started Signs compared to this album now?
Yeah, so I came into it really, really early. Like, I didn't start the band. There were a couple of guys
Hmm.
that had already like started it, and they were just looking for people. And yeah, it was just kind of like they were just like posting videos on Facebook, like
Hmm.
of just a couple dudes in a room, like riffing. And I'm like,
Dude, I
because
remember those videos. Like, I was like, oh, this
yes,
is so sick.
yeah, it was just like like it's technically the same building we have a rehearsal room in now, but it was just like totally, just run down, like room in the basement, like carpet on the walls, leaking and all that. Um, and I was just like, there weren't a lot of super heavy bands doing that, just like stripped down deathcore, kind of slam thing at the time in our area.
Hmm.
Like there was a lot. There were definitely deathcore bands, but it was just like a lot of, like we said, there's so many different bits, so many different sounds, and that was just like what I was looking for at the time. And there weren't a lot of
Hmm.
people, especially in my area, living farther away from the city. There was nobody doing that here, and so yeah, I just kind of jumped in. I just begged them to let me play with them. Eventually, they gave in after months of
Sure.
begging. But yeah, I mean, it's that was I was like 18, maybe
Hmm.
going on 19, something like that. I'm 30 now, so it's a basically a generation of change of just like growing up, spending my whole 20s in this, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's I think the main change is just like I've talked about this before. I feel like just growing up and finding, I think when you start doing it, it's more so about like just doing it. It's
Sure.
just like just getting out there and doing it, and nothing really matters. Like there's no plan, there's no, future. Like we signed a contract for a record label when I was like 21, literally with like barely even reading it. Like it was at a show. We played a Halloween bash show. It was like our first time headlining a show ever. And it was
Hmm.
just like, in the middle of the sticks, like we had never really toured at that point or anything. So it's just that thing, like it was just throwing stuff at the wall and kind of just trying to get out there. And it's definitely a lot more methodical, now over the years. I think that's the biggest change, I guess, outside of, like you said, like lineup changes or whatever. It's just like trying to learn how to be a band and be a business over the time and, be successful outside of just more than just wanting to make music. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah.
still the majority of why we do this, but it's,
Hmm.
we're all getting older and we've been fortunate to kind of make this a job. So I think just learning the ins and outs of this industry and getting to meet all these people and travel and learning the world and all this stuff is definitely all those perspectives and all the life experiences, like have just whether you pay attention to it or not, it definitely influences you in every aspect of your life, and especially the music. So, but yeah, I mean, just you know, grinding, grinding, grinding. We're just been
Yeah,
working,
for
and
sure.
honing in on a sound now in the last couple of years, especially. It's been
Yeah, for sure. I think
definitely our
it's
goal.
from the sounds of it, it's just like, I mean, I'm 20. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know
Right?
how
Yeah,
anyone.
exactly. I
It's
mean,
like,
hell, sometimes we still barely know.
Dude, I'm
yeah.
34 and I still don't know what I'm doing, brother.
Yeah,
But
just
it's
ride
like,
the wave.
I think to that extent, it's like the 20-year-old mindset of playing music is just like, go for it and see what happens. And now it's like, well, go for it, see what happens. And this is also our job that like, is it you guys only, is what music what pays your guys' bills?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nowadays, with my eye disease and everything, I'm kind of limited to what I can do.
Hmm.
So it comes to careful budgeting and just grinding out with music and content and stuff,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
I'm very grateful for, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but over the years, like to attest what Bobby was saying, like because I've survived a good couple lineup changes throughout the years.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of the sound like really comes from Bob. And he doesn't give himself more credit than he deserves, truly, in my opinion. Because he can hear something that somebody will give him, and then he's like, dude, I got this. Let me see, give me 20 minutes. And then literally it's a completed song and it's insane. And then it's
I
really
appreciate
crazy.
that.
It's really crazy to like actually watch it happen. You know what I mean? And then I
It's
gotta act like I know what I'm doing on top of it, dude.
well, it's always been weird for me because I learned so much from the people that like starting like the first couple of years of this band. Like I didn't know how to use a computer. I like Dave says like he grew up um like not wealthy by any means, and I kind of came from sort of the same life, but I never had a computer or any of this stuff. So when I was writing demos, like I remember I got my first ever computer for free from college, and it was like awful,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
So and I dropped out, and I kept the computer, I kept the laptop. So like it was just like playing a riff and then try to Guitar Pro. It's like I didn't have any concept of how to like make a demo or anything, you know. So
Hmm.
I think a lot of the writing style and a lot of that came from learning from the people that I was playing with at the time. So, I appreciate it very much, Dave. Like, but I definitely do feel a bit of that weight is like, a lot, the sound comes from me for sure, but it's like it's so hard to say. Like, so many things go into that thing, like that comes out of me just from learning from other people and taking that with me. And even with all the ins and outs, there's a part of me, whether it's like good relationships or bad relationships I've had over the time of being in this band, there's a part of me that like always wants to like keep that legacy and like the not just the people that were in it, but the fans we made at that time, like make them proud and happy to listen to the band and stuff. It's like, so I think that's a big part of it is just like the wisdom, I guess,
Sure.
of just being in it for so long and just kind of like trying to trust myself to know if
Yeah.
that fits the vein. And sometimes I miss, and that's fine.
There's sometimes where I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
Bob, this ain't it, brother. We need some
yeah,
of the
that's
fat of it.
fine.
And that's just
Yeah,
part of being a group. You know what I mean? Because Mike and Carl will be like, what the hell are you doing? You know? And
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. You spend so much of your life like really doing one thing. It's like you kind of want to try different things and do this or that, and it's like try. And
Sure.
sometimes it works out great, sometimes it does not. And that's
Yeah.
fine too.
Well, I think on that end, if I think if you were doing the same thing the entire time throughout your career, eventually it just wouldn't be fun for you to do. Like I think you as a human
definitely
would want
become
to evolve
stagnant,
and
bro. You
yeah, for
definitely
sure.
become
Yeah,
really stagnant because, like,
yeah,
even like writing breakdowns, we have a hard time writing breakdowns that are like unique and different from
Hmm.
what everybody's recycling over like our even current time. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's kind of recycling the MySpace deathcore vibes at this current timeline.
Yeah.
No shade to nobody because everybody, I've been there too.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The inspiration comes from somewhere, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like in our current like stance of being a band, it's hard to really like try to find something that's fresh and new for us where we're like, yeah, we're stoked to play this at least 100 times in 2 months. You know,
yeah.
For
that's a
sure.
real hard thing to come with all this too. Is just finding that balance of what is fun to do for us and also entertaining for our fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes you love writing and recording a song and it's a banger, and then you play it live and it's like not the same at all. So we,
Dude,
we
I
tailor our
remember
sets a
playing
lot.
Sarkazin, dude. Like the
Yeah,
first time we played that, I was like, bro, like this is
yeah,
miserable.
yeah. It feels like some songs feel totally different, and or like a vibe for one reason and maybe not for the other or whatever it is,
Mhm.
and but it's still fun to like explore that kind of thing and
For
do those
sure.
things, but it's you kind of come to learn like, the ins and outs of what works and what doesn't in a
Yeah, for
way.
sure. And it's also like you kind of like you said before is like you want to write songs that you'll love forever because like I'll use Amongst the Low and Empty as an example. I don't think there ever will be a time where you guys will not play that song.
Yeah, you
We
never
just
know,
Yeah,
brother. We
yeah.
stopped
I
playing
don't know.
Like,
cesspool.
Yeah, you
yeah.
know what? True. So
Luckily, we like that one still.
yeah.
There was. I remember we did. I think we did our headline tour last year, and we said sound checked with our song "Borrowed Time" for like
Oh
a
no.
year and a
Yeah.
half straight. So we got to a point like we still play it, and we still like playing it, but we got to a point where we're like, can we sound check with anything else? Because like,
Yeah.
it's just so it's one of those songs. It's like it's fairly easy for us all to play compared to a lot of the other stuff, and it's got
Mhm.
all the sounds that we need for a mix in it. So
Sure.
it's just like the go-to. Like, all right, we'll get through this one. And
Yeah.
yeah, luckily I don't think Lone Evi's because it's still exciting to everybody for the most part. So I think we're still grooving with that one. But yeah, there's a lot of songs over the years that I mean I've probably played. I have tried to keep count of all of our shows, and
Mhm.
I've fallen behind lately. But the last count that I had from like all of our shows ever was like almost 700 shows,
Oh wow.
and so some songs I've played probably 500 times,
Wow.
not including practices and rehearsals and sound checks, so maybe triple or quadruple that.
Mhm.
So yeah, you play a song 1,000 times in a couple of years, it's like,
Oh yeah.
all right, man.
There's
Yeah.
there are some times where like I'll look at Slipknot, who I've seen live, and they'll be playing Psychosocial. I'm like, how are you guys still enjoying playing that song? Like you've played that for like 20 years now. There's no shot
Yeah,
that they're not just like time
That
to go
might
do the thing again.
yeah,
see there to me, like hearing that, like I definitely think that it might be like one of those like nostalgic moments for them. You
That's
know what
also
I
yeah,
fair.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
because like there's times whenever we play older songs and like I just look back at Bob and like I get a flashback from like my late 20s and I'm just like,
Sure.
we're still ripping, dude.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's a real
We
proud moment, you know?
That's also fair. Yeah.
we played a couple songs on our headline tour last year that we hadn't played in probably 7 years,
Mhm.
and it was cool for us. Like we hit a point halfway through the tour where we were just like over it already, but it
Yeah.
was cool at first to like get to do it and bring some life and then like change little parts, like make the production kind of live up to what the band sounds like now, and like get to do lights and play it to more people than we ever did back when the songs came out, and it's cool to like to see that thing happen. But then we also kind of discovered too at a point that because people always ask like we play this old song, and most of the
Mhm.
time we play those old songs, half the people don't know that song, and it's a really
Yeah.
weird thing.
Sure.
I feel like most of the people that want you to play old stuff are just the internet people that don't actually come
Yeah, that
out
don't
to
even
the
come
Go
to
to
the
a
shows.
show,
shows.
dude, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
No.
we've
It was
kind of just
honestly
decided like,
mind-blowing to me because like I see people complain like about how we don't play like Cesspool or Nightcrawler as much anymore, and or even things from like Senseless Order, and whenever we do, the room just like kind of just goes like crickets,
I think,
and
and because people
it's
have
really
come to want,
wild.
yeah, like we as soon as we started playing Low and Empty, like just stuff from that album, like the bouncy stuff, it was a
Mhm.
total change for our band. It was the first time we had like a room jumping ever. Like we have people fighting and moshing, but like the whole room bouncing, like that's a whole different, like it's just a
It's
different
a
thing,
different
and
vibe.
we'd never had that, yeah. And so that's like every time we play that song, it's just immediate. Same with Bar Time, like just those groovy things where it's the room just explodes, and there's something about it that you can't know when you're writing a song.
Right.
And then we go to play those
Yeah.
old songs that are like a little slower, a little like it's more like two. It's just a kind of different crowd. It's like a different target audience, I think. And those people that want that aren't the people that are coming out anymore to pay $25 to see a deathcore show. It's like, so yeah, it's interesting.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Truly, like just being on
Yeah,
that side of the coin, it's really crazy to see that. Because like I remember whenever we were playing those songs and the rooms would go absolute ballistic.
yeah, because that was the music for the time too, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
I guess that could
yeah,
be it. Like it could have
yeah,
just the time just kind of made it fizzle away.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
But then there are those OG fans that are just like, yo, I just beat the living shit out of someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah, we
totally
have
have to
that.
censor that one out.
Well, I think too, it's like I've been to a couple shows in the past couple of like months where like a Psycho Frame was a band I saw, and there was like four people like moshing and like really participating. Is like I think people are afraid of getting like hurt now. Well, I think back then it's like
Yeah,
kind of like
that's
out the window,
definitely a
like
thing.
going for it.
And different areas, like you said, Jersey, like Jersey, it's just it's the crowd, right? You get like you said, you're in the hardcore like stuff
Hmm.
on site or what. Those people are coming to the show with the purpose of like fighting, not
Yeah.
fighting like anger,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
like
yeah.
of letting it out, like most of those people, like what you're getting into. And I think what we do, like we have crossover with those bands and we do those tours too. And I love when
Mhm.
we do those tours because we grew up on that stuff. Like we want to see that. So like we did a tour with Snuffed and like that art and you get that crossover, like we're excited to see people, you know, beating
Yeah.
on each other
On
again.
that
Yeah.
tour, I was in the pit for
Yeah,
snuff.
Dave was literally in the pit. Yeah, but I think there's a certain almost level of like more mainstream where it becomes a little bit more casual listeners. I think to an
Yeah.
extent, and generally, weirdly enough, those are the people that like have the time and the money to like go see a five
Sure.
band deathcore show.
Yeah.
So you still have that. It's just I do think there's a weird line between the people that like want to come to see and take in music
Hmm.
because sometimes we play shows too where we're like, oh man, it felt kind of weird, like whatever area you might be in. It's like you still have like the pit and the group of people that
Hmm.
are going crazy, but maybe more people than not are just kind of hanging out and watching the show.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
especially like in Europe, we joke about it all the time because it's so backhanded. But I started to kind of have a thought like last year or the year before. I was like, we see that and we're like, if people aren't moving, then they're not, we're not doing our job or whatever. But there are people that's how they're enjoying the show. Like they've chosen to spend their money to come and just hang out and watch. So to us,
Yeah.
we're like, oh, like y'all were bored and we're boring and you're boring or whatever because it wasn't insane. And I'm like, well, I think those people just like that's what they
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
That's
how
what
they
they
because
chose
like.
to
And
nowadays,
enjoy the
like
show.
people,
Yeah.
like for those kind of shows, people would like come up to us and be like, "This was the greatest show I've ever seen."
Exactly. Yes. When people in Europe, like the dude's literally like this for 45 minutes. And he's like, and then after we play, he's like, that was the most amazing thing that I've ever seen in my life. And you're like, oh, okay. So whatever.
Yeah.
Learning experiences, dude.
Yeah.
I think definitely like deathcore is, I mean, I could 100% be wrong, but like peak popularity right now, which I think draws in more casual people, but like I think the price for that is like casual people don't want to get their face kicked in. And
Exactly.
I saw a weird comment the other day on like some mosh pit that was like they're all push pitting. Like push pitting is lame. And it's like, hey, they're
Oh my God.
participating in doing
Dude,
something.
right? Like actually just saw someone made a meme of whenever we played in Spain. And like I cuz like I saw it and I saw our backdrop and stuff and I was like,
Hmm.
"Yo, that's so sick." Somebody made a meme out of our show. But everybody's just like in there like, "Oh, that's metalcore. Oh, that's deathcore. That's deathcore pits," because it was like a dude kind of like doing like spin kicks and windmills and picking up change and just kind of just having a good time, and they're like kind of trying to roast them, and I'm just like, dude, like those are the people that are awesome in our eyes because
Yeah.
it's like they give us energy. It's like they're doing the spirit ball move for us, dude. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's hard to have fun when you're giving everything and people seem like they're not into it, but it's, they generally are really into it. It's just different. It's like,
Yeah.
that's how
It's
they
how they
enjoy it or
express that.
whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that, like, I think that was much more of a thing back in the day, actually, like when we were coming up, where it was like super hardcore, like, push fits versus hate moshing. And even like a couple years ago, it's definitely like less of a topic now.
Hmm.
But yeah, comments, used to be crazy. You know, like people would show up in different groups to shows of like, we mosh this way, you mosh this way. And then people would fight. Like, literally fight in the pit about
Yeah,
it.
like
And you still
honestly, I
get
got my
the
ass kicked a good couple times growing up, dude.
yeah, and you still get it sometimes, like, but you know, I mean now too we're playing like not as DIY stuff, obviously,
Yeah.
thankfully, but like so you get security and it's like a little more like a little more prim and proper. But back in the day, doing more underground stuff, it's like there's nobody to stop it except for you. So if
Right,
you don't
like,
stop
dude,
it, it's
there's
just
like that joke of being like, "Yo, I'm fighting for my life up here." You
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And now I guess heading into new album stuff, I was curious to what both of your mindsets were like going into this new album.
Ooh, you want to get that started, or you want me to rip my band-aid off first?
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Well, with this record, I definitely wanted to be more real.
Mhm.
I've said it before in other interviews, and I feel like it's the best analogy that I could come up with for it is that like I felt like I was writing from behind a cloak or a veil or something, and I wasn't being too straightforward about anything. I kind of was writing riddles, dude.
Mhm.
And with this one, I really wanted to kind of do a lot of soul searching and be as honest as I possibly could be. I had a lot of great help writing with this record from my bassist Michael and our producer Josh. They really helped me find the right words because sometimes I come up with a great idea and I need help with a chorus or something, and they definitely come in and kind of shift me in the right way. They just give me one word and I'm like, all right, that's it. I got it now.
Mhm.
And like honestly, being able to lean on the people around me really helped me get to the to the goal that I think that this record is. But getting in the mindset of this was really tough. I was kind of going through a lot personally, and that's where I felt like this was probably the best time to kind of be as vulnerable and hard on my sleeve as possible. Um, I definitely wanted to try to captivate on how good and evil kind of shapes a person. Um, Unreligious way about it, just good and bad decisions,
Sure.
morals, etc. Uh, but I definitely wanted to try to be more clear in what I was writing about, and also within like my tonality of my voice, were my two personal like strong goals I'd like to say for this record.
Mhm.
Um, Being brutal is simply easy with the material that my guys give me, but trying to make it hit that much harder and trying to be true to myself was the big challenge point for sure.
For sure. I think it's definitely it's rare. I think it's mm, coming up more now, but like it's rare for deathcore to have meaning, if that makes sense, or like
No,
lyrics
trust me,
to
that was
be.
one of the things that really bugged me. Because like trust me, I have the gory I'm a god songs, or all I
Hmm.
need to become god songs, or um but I really wanted it to kind of resonate with people a little more, and I felt like being true to myself and my true problems was the best way to go about it this time around. And honestly, it's been so receptive. I've written songs about like my drug problem, and my alcohol problem, and just I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say that it actually helped them and inspired them to kind of get their stuff together.
Hmm.
And I'm very proud that I'm actually helping people, because in the past I believed that I was helping people with just kind of making music to like let out that like to say those inner demons or whatever, or aggression or whatever you got going on throughout your day, and this time around it feels more meaningful, and
Yeah,
I'm really stoked about that, to be honest.
for sure. I think from the sounds of it, it's like it's good that already this album sounds like it was like a therapeutic experience for
Oh,
you,
absolutely,
but for that to also
absolutely.
act as a therapeutic experience for other people must be like the cherry on top and just like an extra bonus
Honestly,
little like
there was a side of me where I was nervous that people were gonna be like, "Yo, this dude's just whining about his shit," you know. But
Mhm.
like the positive impact that I am seeing is honestly the best blessing I could possibly ask for.
Mhm.
Because yeah, like we make a living from this, but some of the responses and some of the people that have reached out to me, I didn't anticipate that, you know, and saw this thing the other day that really resonated me a lot and made me feel accomplished. It's like whenever you stay true to what you're doing this for and like just being true to yourself, that it'll gravitate the people to you that need to hear it. And that's a very true factor. If you're just writing about nothing, no one's going to pay attention, or they're just going to forget about it next year.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you can only write so many deathcore songs about killing people and
That's
like
what I'm
the
saying.
I'm the
That
goat, I'm the best until
Yeah,
like
you like how we were saying earlier about just like getting bored. You
mhm,
know, like I kind of was just getting bored of writing that kind of stuff.
sure.
And like from that whole experience of like really diving in deep and pulling some skeletons out of my closet and showing them off, um you honestly put it the best way. It was very therapeutic for me, but it's been very therapeutic for everyone else, and I'm just so grateful for it.
For sure. Yeah. And Bobby, I promise we'll get to your mindset in a second. But I just
Oh, you're fine. This
I
is
was
great.
yeah, I was curious because while listening to the album a couple of times, I noticed the lyrical motif of just fear being throughout the album, whether that's a fear of something else or just a fear of yourself. So I was curious about what it was like trying to get this motif and message across the album.
See,
Um,
honestly, that like you can ask Bobby. I'm one of the most paranoid people you'll ever meet. I think about every scenario at least 50 different ways, and 52 of them don't happen, you know? And
sure, I get that. Yeah,
so I feel like that's just my honest personality just shining through of me just being myself.
for sure.
Um, because like one common theme that I did want to really try to keep in it is like gold going to rust.
Hmm.
Like there's a couple little motifs, if you will, throughout the album about rust,
Hmm.
and I feel like that was just an inner insecurity of just being an older dog in the scene nowadays, you know.
For sure. Yeah,
Um, but I definitely wanted to like kind of like include that and kind of like make it a key point for people to notice. It's actually really sick that you noticed the fear thing because that was something that kind of went under my radar, bro.
But no, I think the rest thing is cool. And I think especially it's funny that you say like the fear of being an older person in the scene. It's like saying all that, but then also writing like music that honestly, again, like we said before, like emotional deathcore is just non-existent.
Truly.
It's not a thing. So saying that and then also adding something to the scene this deep into your career is like special.
See, I feel like that was a point of something that needed to be kind of showcased. We're always trying to be super brutal. I remember some songs in Vital Deprivation back in the day tried to show some vulnerability. They really didn't stick. And because like going into this record, I've been trying to give you some new stuff that I really haven't said before. But like I've said in other interviews, where I returned to a lot of my old material going into this record,
Mhm.
and it just felt like I was like kind of hiding behind a curtain, just talking about things I was too scared to talk to my loved ones or my peers about. And I wanted that to be more present in this record.
For
Uh,
sure.
it would be censored, but I was too chicken to really speak my mind, if you will.
I get it. Yeah. I think how it came across to me is like, I don't know if you've ever journaled before. but it
Yes, I
feels
have.
like it
I have.
feels like the things you would write in a journal, but now it's public information. It's on display for
Yeah.
you to see.
Yeah, it's a poetic journal essentially.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
believe it or not, like throughout the whole timeline of prepping for this record, I have even a notepad that I've already started the next record for. But I honestly just get these thoughts in my head, and sometimes they're catchy, sometimes they're not. Sometimes I just think they're hard. Sometimes I'm just like, yo, I'm feeling this way right now, and some of the best stuff comes out of the spur of the moments. And I just like kind of jot them down. So it's actually really funny that you say journal, because like my notepad is my life. Um, and I'm constantly in it. Like I'll be sitting there with having a conversation with somebody, and they'll just get me into the headspace of something, and I'm just like, well, people think I'm texting or something, but no, I'm actually just writing something
Oh
down
no.
that
Yeah,
I
I've been there.
spiraled
I totally
into.
get that. Yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, now Bobby, what was your mindset going into the album?
Yeah, really quickly, just to kind of touch on what Dave
Yeah.
said about, you know, or even you just, emotional deathcore. I think we, we definitely keep our ear to the ground, but I think pretty, um, between all of us, I could say there hasn't been, compared to when we were younger, there hasn't been like as many things that impress us these days, or even, I don't even say impress, like, but that really like hold, get its fingers into you and kind of sticks with you the same way things used to.
Sure.
And a lot of that, like you said, is because it is, a lot of repetition or whatever.
Hmm.
But I think the things that really stick with us and that we come back to after, an album that's maybe 20 years old or something, even in deathcore, like late 2000s stuff, is that most of that, um, you had your crazy, kill 'em all kind of, like the OG Whitechapel albums and stuff, of course, but there's still stuff hidden in there.
Sure.
And I think a lot of the stuff that we come back to often is, things that really had a message. Dave and I are both big fans of a lot of the same stuff, like, old Molotov or, early Fit for an Autopsy, or really anything Nate touched, or, even like the first two I Declare War albums, and like all these things, whether it was political or emotional, or at least told a story that was deeper than, you know, than the surface level of maybe what the song title was or something. There's something in there that
Sure.
sticks with you. And it's just like there's a message there. And that stuff to me really has stuck with me through all these years. Like when I want to hear, like I want to listen to deathcore, it's like I have, a record that I'm gonna put on first. And it's
For
like
sure.
or with any genre, like I want to listen to this. It's almost always something that is, you know, either just a vibe or it has something in it that it gives to you that like that's what I need to get out of it at the moment.
Feel that so hard.
But yeah, I think that that's like something that, I'm really super happy with Dave's approach to that, and just and songwriting and that, and just kind of trying. It's definitely like a give and take battle, and like because it's extreme metal, like making room for all the things that are happening at any time, and pretty much, the 99% of the time, Dave's voice is the most important thing. Like if there's vocals there, it's for a purpose, right? And
Sure.
to to make that purpose, to give it more purpose, is like, so not only are you carving out the space for the voice, and then we have moments where it's like, well, this riff's really cool, so we need to carve out space for that riff or whatever. But you know, when he is speaking, to have it be something very intentional is like super cool. Even for me, as like someone who's not like I can't really write lyrics. I sit in the room when we need a word, and I'll try to, I might come up with like a phrase for a whole album or
Yeah.
something.
Hey, dude, you had that "I Won't Let You Die" Stealing Bones.
Yeah, that was cool. That
Yeah,
was
no,
just
trust
like,
me, I
yeah.
got merits in the.
Oh,
Oh, I was doing so good.
no! But yeah, I mean, like, so it's that thing, like you see it happen, and I'm somebody who grew up really just listening to music like metal because I liked drums and I like, was trying to learn guitar and drums. So I didn't pay much attention. And I got older and I started paying attention to these things. And I'm like, you start piecing the things together. Like, why does like this album from some off the wall band like Avenged Sevenfold or something like, I mean, like, is should not have been commercially successful or whatever, or Corn. It's like, because there's something about that. Like there's something in the time. There's something, um, that's being said that resonates with a lot of people. Obviously, like millions of people. And there were probably 50 other bands that sounded just like that band at the time that didn't have the thing that they had or whatever it is. But so I think going into this, like you asked at the very beginning, like what has changed, it's just like, you know, paying attention to these things and seeing things come and go. And the writing process is still like, I'm not trying to be like, I have some grand vision or something because I don't really, it's just being able to, as you're doing it, I'm just sitting with a guitar, program drums, whatever. I'll sit at the drums and maybe come up with a cool beat or a fill or something, and then bring that to the computer. You're just experimenting with sounds and samples, and like, just like I'm gonna buy this VST because that one sound was cool, and then try to make it into something interesting or whatever. But as you're doing that, and just again throwing stuff at the wall, having that context now, being a little bit older and like just paying attention to things more now than I used to, and really thinking about like, well, why is that? Like, why is that thing really cool? Do I need that? Do I need this now or whatever? And a lot of songs, not a lot of songs. I was gonna say some songs are songs that we work on for little bits and pieces for years,
Dude, forcing to forget.
yeah, that and Sarcasm both were like, just little, like I did like a minute and a half of a song, and I have these moments a lot where even if the whole first minute of the song isn't really great, it's like I had to go through that, work of, even if it's nothing crazy, it could just be a guitar and a drum sample or whatever. But I had to go through those steps to get to the next point of like, that bit led me to the chorus, and then like the chorus is really good, or the breakdown or the post chorus or whatever. It's like, that's really catchy. Like I need to use that. And then you'll scrap everything else. And it's like, it's just puzzles, it's just putting the puzzle together and not being afraid to like do all that work and then only get that little bit out of it. And then other times we'll sit and we'll do a song and it's like 90% there, after like 2 or 3 days. It's really weird how it happens. But I think all those like little setbacks and just things that make you think about things differently, have kind of led us to this, like going into this record.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to ask about the writing process with the instrumentals, where it sounds like you find yourself like kind of writing bits and pieces, and then kind of like putting them together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes it's rare. Like it's only like a handful of times per album that we kind of sit and go like, this is, we'll have an idea of the sound in mind for an album, but for like each individual song, like this last time Dave sent me a bunch of song titles, and there were a couple that I was like, like he's like, well, this word phrase means this, so this kind of comes from this. And so you kind of imagine like, you know, um, what that might sound like in your head. Like, well, this obviously needs to be super brutal, or maybe this one I could try something a little different.
For sure.
And so, but generally it just kind of comes from like, you try something and maybe it sounds cool right now. Maybe, it doesn't sound cool right now. And then a year later it sounds cool. Like it's,
Yeah.
I'm
One of
not
my
the kind of
favorite
person.
things that you wrote was like whenever I gave you just the one sentence from Clouded Retinas, and you and Carl cooked up that chorus.
Yeah,
That
which
was
is
probably
super
like
cool
one
to
of
be able
my
to do that.
that was like one of the first times we actually did that, and really enjoyed that process a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's the first, like I've always tried to think it's weird because like it kind of sounds like pompous, which is like I don't carry it too heavy, but like I come from a very like classical music background. Like I did band and stuff my whole life.
Hmm.
And so I love thinking about things, especially in metal, usually like all the like, great producers and stuff do this is like the whole like all the purpose in that music is all about like making space, like building an atmosphere and letting the different instruments shine. And in metal, it could be anything from just like a kick drum or like the tone, like outside of the vocals. Like, oh, that's like always the main, like I said, the main priority. But like, you know, anything like a sound effect or whatever is like just kind of thinking about those things and what
For
they
sure.
add to a moment, to a song
Hmm.
versus like versus just like, well, I just want to make this sound because of whatever, because like that's
Yeah.
cool, whatever, like,
Yeah,
and that has its moments too. But again, I think that's when you end up in that rabbit hole, like we were saying. There's a lot of just kind of like music now that doesn't feel very purposeful or is just kind of copy paste stuff.
yeah, for
And
sure.
there's space for that too. Like I know some of our favorite shit on the road is just the dumb, heavy, stupid stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
there's a place for it
but
for
yeah,
sure.
exactly. There's a place for it. But I think that the stuff that, you know, even if, look like if we're not, an arena selling band and 20 years from now, it's like I think somebody could come back to like this music and still find something in it because it has a substance outside of just being like crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I think going back to you doing band, have you taken music theory before and do you write sometimes with like music theory in mind?
Yeah, I'm not like super proficient with a lot of like I know all my scales and I know because it's I was like in percussionist school, but we had to test out of scales every year
Hmm.
for like xylophone and stuff like that. So you learn all that because it does help. It does help a lot. I definitely don't write guitar like that. I'm not like a super proficient guitar player. Like I can't solo or whatever,
Hmm.
but I know where notes are and kind of just that kind of
Sure.
thing because
Yeah.
of that. And so it helps me. I actually find like I write like some of the cool riffs on this album. I would write like just starting with a guitar, and then I have this problem where I'm like, because I don't play guitar that much. I like get stuck in a box. So I like take that to like a MIDI program or Guitar Pro, and I'm like, okay, like my fingers can't do that. I can't reach to this part. It's like how can I take that outside of my brain and like put that on the paper and then it's just a constant back and forth of that like of trying to see it because I can see it but I can't do it all the time,
Yeah,
and I can
for
hear it in
sure.
my head or whatever. But yeah, I definitely spent a lot of time. I think from the time I was 8 until I dropped out of college, I was 19.
Oh,
I
wow,
did
nice.
did drum line and drum corps and all that stuff,
Oh yeah, I
and I
totally.
love it. There's like a such a community and like a discipline that comes from that. Like I would have dropped out of school for sure if I wasn't
Yeah.
doing so much drumline because it made me like enjoy. Like oh,
Do
I get
you,
to go play drums today. So that was cool.
yeah, do you find correlations between the metal scene and then I guess like the band scene when you were growing up? Was there any like correlation maybe within like community or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, especially in drummers for sure, because
Hmm.
so many, it's like that's a very unique thing versus like, if you want to play guitar and, growing up, you're trying to take lessons, you're going to take lessons from like a third party, you're going to hire a guitar teacher,
Hmm.
something like that, or get lessons online now. But back then it was like, get tabs and then go see a teacher. But getting to do it, or maybe jazz band at school, but that's like a very specific niche thing
Yeah.
versus like drums is like it's all the same stuff. You're just playing, counting to four for the most part. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of crossover in that, and I think I met you meet a lot of drummers on tour, and even in like the local scenes growing up. It's like that's how a lot of us got into metal music because you learn
Mhm.
about drums and this kind of thing.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
definitely, I don't know necessarily like the band community because it's like
Yeah.
it's got all its little cliques and stuff or
See,
whatever.
like
But
I've been holding that back so bad. Like the little
yeah,
clicks in the band community was
yeah,
insane, and it totally is the
yeah,
same.
Oh no,
Yeah, like the drummers were like the cool kids, but I was not. Like I was not gonna act like I was a cool. I was not at all. But by the time I got older and I was like, like drum captain or something, it's like you get this kind of like leadership power and respect in that like tiny little niche community
oh, I get
because you're
that.
in control of everything of like 100 people, everyone's following your lead. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
kind of
for
neat.
sure.
It definitely like I had a lot of great teachers and I write them on still like I write them letters for Christmas, like saying thank you. Like we did Summer Breeze. It was the first time we played like 10,000 people, and they gave you these little postcards that you can mail out to people, and you just write them and leave them on the desk, and they'll mail them out. And I mailed a couple of those to some of my band teachers just because like they gave me like this kind of discipline that I don't carry in all aspects of my life by any means, but like in this really weird niche thing
Yeah,
that it's just like I have such a respect for it, and a lot of it comes from that,
yeah,
that
for
world.
sure. I get that. Oh no, I mean, I did band when I was in high school. I played bass clarinet, and then having to
Dude,
explain to people,
same.
really? Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
like a crazy instrument. I've never met someone else that's played bass clarinet
Dude,
before.
like my like band career throughout like middle school and high school
Mhm.
wasn't very long. That's why like I only bring it up casually. And Bob has like extensive background in it. And I was like, yo, you just riff, my man. But like I started off playing clarinet and then they're like, oh, you're real good at that. We need somebody to do this. And they gave me the bass clarinet. And then I popped off with that. And then they're like, oh, move the saxophone. You'll crush that too. And then it was like they just kept moving me around and I just kept playing different instruments that were all kind of woodwind. And low key, that totally taught me how to control my diaphragm.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
straight
Yeah.
up, like um,
bass clarinet is a hard instrument to like breathe through. It's like
oh
insane.
yeah,
It's tough.
oh yeah. I'm so good. That's so sick, dude.
It's so funny. I literally the
The
only
word
reason.
vomit of excitement whenever you said you played bass
Yeah.
clarinet, dude. Like,
No, it's insane because the you being good at clarinet, which led you to bass clarinet, exact opposite happened to me. I could not hit my high notes whatsoever, and they were like,
oh no
"What
way.
if you
Oh
tried this instrument?" And I was like, "Okay." So then having to
yeah.
explain that I played bass clarinet and then also listen to Whitechapel to some people, I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey guys,
Hey,
no,
It's
bass
cool.
clarinet forges some real ones, dude. You know what
oh
I'm
no,
saying?
this is awesome. Hey, bass clarinet for real. We stand
For real
together."
Yeah.
respect.
You said at college radio, does your school have a band? I'm asking you questions now.
I think this
Do you
is,
have
yeah,
a
it's
music
flick on
program?
me. I think we
Yeah.
do have a music program. I've been so caught up with the radio station now that
Yeah.
I've yet to check out. I think my bass clarinet was also like rented from my high school.
Yeah.
So like I've been left with my clarinet, and ever since I was told that I can't hit high notes, I've been like, I don't
All
want to
right.
touch you right now. But like it
No, I
is
was just
there.
curious, man. It's cool. Like the college, like the year and a half that I had in college, like taught me so much, and
Oh
just
yeah.
like,
It's
and
weird to think. Sorry, go on.
oh, you're okay. Just how much that like I said, there's not a lot of instruments like in a band world that you can carry over that kind of like knowledge, but drums, like it, so many of it's really interesting. Like in the metal world, the drummers that are great are either like the dudes that have had. I think you said Whitechapel, like Brandon. He was a drum corps like legend, like played with Blue Devils, like all this stuff. These
Mhm.
people that have spent their whole lives, and you see it like in the posture and the way they carry themselves as drummers, and they're like, it's like they're the cool guys. Or it's the dudes that like had no teaching at all and just sat and were like, I'm gonna play metal, and because they have that like so totally fresh open mindset to it, that they're just like amazing legends too.
Yeah, for
It's like
sure.
these huge ends of the spectrum. So
Yeah, I think I definitely like every kid I know that is in the music program here that likes metal plays drums. So there's always like a weird like
Unbelievable.
there's always
Very
like a
yeah.
cool.
correlation between like drumming and the music program. And even like I mean, this college is unique in the sense of like we have a radio station that plays like metal. So even just that it's like going from my little town in New Jersey where maybe like three kids knew metal and I didn't even fuck with them that much. And going into an entire college where there's an entire group of people that their job is to listen to this music. It's
Yeah.
like
It's pretty
insane.
rad because like it's a Christian school, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Which
because
is
I used to live by Geneva College. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or
I've heard.
not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that would not be a likely thing there. Just because like I had a friend that went from high school and he actually got his music masters there.
Hmm.
Um, and like he was into metal. He was one of my friends that like kind of like showed me like, dude, you need to do the deep dive on Corn and like, you know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
um, but yeah, uh, totally lost my train of thought.
No, you're good.
I hit this nostalgic moment of my brain stem, and I'm
Yeah,
just
for
like,
real. Yeah.
yo,
No, this is a great chat, actually.
No,
yeah,
this is
like
awesome.
Yeah.
very enjoyable to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, kind of rounding out, it's like it's weird that this is in a um college for sure. And sometimes I'm like, taking classes suck. The academics part sucks.
I believe it.
Same moment, I wouldn't have like a radio station job if it wasn't for college.
I
So
feel it,
it's
man,
like,
because whenever I was in college, I got lucky that I was able to find a job and able to balance academics like
mhm.
like throughout my practice, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I totally get
I
that. Even
I
so,
dropped out because I was in music performance and music technology for recording, and then I learned nothing from it. But
no,
I dropped because they were making me take like a sports class, like racquetball. I'm like, I'm paying you like $5,000 for this racquetball class, and I'm just here to play drums like all day, whatever. It's so silly. But the radio thing's cool. Like I listen to podcasts and stuff, and
Mhm.
this one that I love, it's like you get into this world because of like learning how to do radio and stuff. And it's so I and that's the thing. Like I dropped out, but I got into bands because of that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's weird where life takes you.
It's weird. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I've been to like I met Ozzy Osbourne's bass player because of this, which was
Huh.
like the weirdest thing to me. I we did an interview, an in-studio interview with Hatebreed, and I
That's
had to set
awesome.
that
Jamie's
up.
awesome.
And it was who was it with? It was with their drummer, Matt. I wish I met
Okay.
Jamie. It would have
Yeah.
been still sick. I love him.
Jamie's
He's
such a
awesome.
fun guy.
I would
Yeah.
love to talk to him. He seems so cool. But I was setting this whole thing up, stressed out of my mind you, because it was like a
I
last
believe it.
minute, like, what am I doing? And then they were like, hey, by the way, no one can like drive him to the station. And I lived 15 minutes away from the venue, and so I was like, I'll do it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That was a weird kind of like in that moment, I was like, sometimes I hate college, but like this is kind of a flex on like every
Yeah.
other metal person here.
And I'm gonna dad you right now and say that all of your life will just be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All your life will be like, man, this thing I'm doing right now really sucks, but it's also simultaneously the coolest thing.
Yeah. I'm like, it sucks sometimes, but like I can't complain too much as I want to. But yeah, I forgot what we were originally talking about before.
You
Dude,
asked me
that's how you know
about
it's a
writing.
good interview, though.
Yeah,
That's how you
yeah.
know
You
it's a
asked me
good
about
interview.
coming into writing this album, and
There we
basically, yeah, that was. I mean, I think we definitely thought we were more prepared than we were for low
Yeah,
energy.
truly.
We
For
were
sure.
definitely more prepared. We had a bunch of songs, and some of them we loved, some of them were like whatever. And yeah, just grinded it out. Went back. Shout out Josh Trader
Yeah,
for
for sure.
beating us into submission as always.
This is your second time working with him, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm assuming like at that point too, it's just like the first time was probably like getting to know him, getting to know his style. I guess the studio would feel more like work at that point. Could be very wrong if it was or wasn't.
Honestly, the second time around felt more like work than the first
Okay.
time. Uh,
Yeah.
even though,
We just
like,
went into like hang the
yeah,
first
like,
time.
Yeah. Did you know
uh,
Josh prior to, I mean, that sounds like a stupid question because like you'd know of him, but like did you know him personally before?
I think Bobby had experience with him, but I only knew of him through like his work of what he's done, and I was
Mhm.
very nervous. Um, but me
Yeah,
being nervous, I was my full self, and I think I'd like to say he likes me, but at the same time, I'm paying him money, so he's probably just gonna like me just because.
Yeah. No, I think yeah, I did like a single like track drums with him once, and I was just like, I like this dude a lot. And then, so we
Mhm.
had done like a big proper studio thing when we did Vital Deprivation. We spent like a bunch of money, went to an awesome studio, worked with really awesome guys.
Dude, I
But
used who wasn't, I think it was like Kanye West, like
vocal booth,
yeah, his vocal booth.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That
That's
was
so
actually
cool.
kind of crazy. I almost
And
said
so like
Jay-Z for some reason.
it was somebody. I think it was Kanye. It was somebody
No,
huge.
it was totally Kanye
Yeah,
because like after I like thought it, I was like, it's really not a flex to say that nowadays.
yeah. It was cool then.
It was
It
cool
was cool in
then.
the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. But, you know, yeah, so we did that whole thing, and then the record after that we did during COVID, and we Dave and I tracked drums and vocals with a friend of ours at like a home studio, which is like a nice home studio, but it's not anything crazy.
Hmm.
And we tracked like all the guitars, just like TI and at his house, like demoed him in my basement, went to his house for a week, tracked them all there, sent them out, and yeah. So then we were like, well, we really want to get back into the studio again, and it was cool. His place is kind of it's like his house, it's the basement of his house. So, but it feels like a studio, but it also feels like a house. So it's cool. It's an interesting level of comfort. But
Sure,
I
for
think
sure.
going into that this time, we were just like, we know what we want to do for the most part.
We were
So
way
Yeah,
more comfortable this time around. That's for
yeah,
sure.
almost too comfortable. We've talked about this before. We were entirely too comfortable. We spent
Oh
like three
yeah,
hours just drinking coffee and doing nothing and
and
whatever.
playing so much pinball. So
Yeah,
much.
so much pinball.
Dude, I him putting Godzilla in the basement was the worst thing for me
Yeah.
because I kept just trying to beat Will's score, dude, and it's just like just couldn't.
I was gonna say, are you a big pinball
Yeah.
guy, or was
He's
a high
forged
score being
he's
there?
he's forged me into being a pinball person. I
Yeah.
really didn't find a love for pinball until I met Josh.
For
And
sure.
then he
Yeah.
started showing me like the little ins and outs of the machine, and like it's not just whacking a ball around, and showing that it's kind of like a video game, but just kind of more
We
simple,
put pinball sounds in some of our songs actually
right?
because
Really?
like so Scars Upon Scars is this part that's a big like drum break and vocal line. And
Hmm.
there's layered behind the snare drum hits, it's all pinball paddles. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And so like
That's
all those clicking
awesome.
sounds are pinball paddles and stuff. And just dumb stuff like that because it's cool. It's cool. It's going to this spot's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Have you guys, I don't know if you've been just because of touring, have you guys been to Silver Ball Pinball Museum in Asbury Park?
No,
No,
It's awesome. There's just this entire
I'm gonna write that down.
place
yeah, you're gonna give us a little
in
side quest to go on.
Yeah.
you're okay. It's just like kind of in the middle of nowhere, Asbury Park, New Jersey. Like it's on the boardwalk, but at like the middle of the boardwalk, and all it is just like a bunch of old pinball and arcade machines.
See, that's
It's
awesome, dude.
it's so cool. I think I just kind of stumbled across there one time with friends, and we're just like, well, time to make this our personality for the rest of our lives because it's just
Dude,
so good.
playing older machines a little bit more fun than playing the new fancy ones. Because like, yeah, they got all the lights and crazy stuff, but like that golfer one, dude. What's that one called?
Oh yeah, Gophers. I don't even remember exactly. I think it's just called Gophers, dude.
Yeah, it's the gopher golf game, dude, where you got to
Yeah,
hit the goal, you have to hit like the par and stuff.
yeah. Like the old Jaws games and stuff are really cool.
The
There's this
James Bond game,
Yeah.
sick.
I wish. Every time I tell myself I'm going to play like an older pinball machine, but there's this like Wonka pinball machine at this place that I don't even think I enjoy playing it, but just seeing that there's a high score on it like fuels me, and I'm just like, I'm going to beat that today. I don't know why I'm going to beat that today, but I'm going to beat that today,
Dude,
and I never do.
it's that you just want to be like, I hold that score.
Exactly. It's like I don't know who this person is with the score necessarily,
But
but
yeah,
I have
but
like a
screw that
vendetta
guy.
against them.
Yes, exactly.
For
But
sure.
yeah, and it's interesting how all those things kind of play into like making our records. Like just like his environment, the chill. It's like we it's both good and bad. Like there's really good stuff that comes from that and working with them, but there's also like because we're so chill, it's like we have the days where we're just like we will get through basically nothing. We're like, everybody hungry, you know, and like,
Yeah.
we have food, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. So it's interesting. I feel like we're not, like I said earlier, like we're not really a band that like specifically has a formula or
Sure.
like a plan all the time. We just like we go off of feelings a lot, and I think
Hmm.
that I love that about us. Is like you know we always say like we used to say we were just shooting at stuff. The Dave says that's with an AK, and then like now we kind of do it with like a sniper. You know, we're just kind of a little more honed in. It's still the
Sure.
same method. We're still just shooting,
Yeah.
but like we pay a lot more attention to like what it's kind of coming to and just like that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally get that. And then I know we talked about the writing process for the instrumentals, but I was curious for how does the writing process usually go when it comes to writing vocal parts?
Oof.
Specifically like coming across like what you want to, not really so much lyric based, but like melody based and like getting what kind of scream you want out and stuff like that.
I really want to say it's really intuition driven. Like really from what influenced me in this. Bobby said it before, like growing up, I was a huge Nate Johnson fan. Like,
Hmm.
and I feel like that, like, kind of like a pinball scorer, I want to level up what that guy did. You know what I mean? And there's just, um, it's real. I really like, I can't really put my thumb on where it comes from. It's like I hear something because there'll be times where I'm like, yo, I want to do this. And it's just like, I just will like make noises and then I'm trying to fit things into those noises where like it, like and then like it's like I'm counting out how many syllables I need, but then I'm focusing on like, oh, there's like more of a e noise here that I feel like would really sit well with like everything going on. So like
Hmm.
I'll try to write lyrics that have those syllables so like it actually hit it not being just noises, you could hear words, but it's
Hmm.
also hitting the noises. um so like I will say, to be fair, that I give myself a lot of hoops to drum through and it's a real pain. But like it's definitely worth it. Whenever I try to think about things in a melodic sense or um I have a hard time with it. And I feel like that I'm beating a dead horse where like whenever I go off of like my actual gut feeling of what I feel like needs to go there, that gut feeling is usually right.
Hmm.
um Forcing to forget, for example, I wrote this chorus that everybody was really stoked on, and Josh was like, all right, well, we're going to try to make you hit some notes that kind of hit, like try to do some like melodic screaming in a sense. And I tried getting with it and just slammed my head against the wall with it and tried changing some things around. And we tried at least like 30 different things of giving stuff more breaks and more like just more space to let the music breathe, and ended up just going back to the original vibe of it. And just from like seeing like reviews and stuff, that was what people like. They don't know what else could have been, but it's been really perceived in a positive way. And that's where like I'd like to say like the gut feeling is very important with whenever it comes to writing like the vocal stuff with me. um Even whenever I wasn't able to like do the clean singing stuff and we had our guitarist Carl essentially front that song, um while he's doing it, if I didn't have that gut feeling it sounded good, like I told him to do it again. And
Sure.
that might come from just like the years of taste and experience and being exposed to so much good and bad music, where like kind of built this like palette that really helps keep things honed in to what works for us. Maybe I'm
Sure.
not
I got
sure.
that.
it's really hard to put my thumb on it, man, because honestly, no
You
one's
just
ever
kind of
really
know.
asked me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's
I think
no.
Yeah.
I think
We
like
haven't,
sorry, go on. Oh, did we lose Bobby? Oh no.
sorry, I
Oh,
froze.
yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to let you speak and then it just went away.
No, you're all good. Basically, all I was going to say is, actually today I saw a clip from an interview with you where you said that Kyle from Body Snatcher once told you to stop thinking about what you're doing. I know that's
Yeah,
kind of applied in a live setting, but like, do you ever find that like in the studio, like obviously like getting the words out, enunciating so
believe
people
it or
can
not,
hear
I'm
what
the
you're
most
saying?
hypercritical person on myself. Like Josh
I
will
get
be
that.
like, dude, that is bad. And I'm like, no, it's not, dude. It sounds like crap. I need to do it again. And it's literally just because one little breath wasn't strong enough.
Mhm.
I
And
think the big thing we struggle with too sometimes is we found, especially like this record, is because of like the intensity in the voice and all these things and how much you're pushing. There's only so many like pretty much any word you can hold out like extend is it has to be a vowel. It
yep,
has to be like an I
Mhm.
E O U kind of thing. So it's like how many variations of that like vowel, like of
Fair.
four sounds can you do throughout a record? It's like, and we'd be like it sounds sick, and they're like, it's like it's got the I thing, it's got the E thing, and I'm like, yeah, like it does, but like how many other options?
Yeah,
It's like
you can't.
yeah,
You
yeah.
have
so then you rework it to, well, okay, maybe we change that word here so that this one can stand out the way it needs to or whatever.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
exactly.
I totally
That's
get.
the team effort, bro. That's not
yeah.
just me. That's me being hypercritical, and then my boys and Josh and just everybody kind of just like being like, all right, well, what if we rethink this? And then it's like, okay, back to the grindstone there. But it kind of resonates
Yeah,
back to what Bobby was saying about doing the work to get to that point.
For sure.
And I don't want to say it's trial and error, but it definitely has some of that to it.
Yeah, for sure. I think from the sounds of it, like, despite you guys saying that you kind of go into the studio just kind of like writing off of a vibe, at that same point, it sounds like you guys know what you want in the end, especially like while you're
Trust
writing
me,
the
I
sound.
I definitely do. I
Yeah.
know Bobby definitely does because like he has those songs where it's like I want the drums to shine on this one, and you could tell
Hmm.
what song that is that
Yeah.
like I'm even referencing to. You know what I mean? And then there's songs where it's like, all right, I'm gonna let Carl have his voice in that, and then he has like his crazy layers and stuff going on, or him singing, and like we do have things in mind whenever we're going into the like make the record for sure.
Sure.
Sometimes studio magic though brings out the best in you because that pressure really forms diamonds, dude.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. I definitely, I was curious if, because I would say that Amongst the Low and Empty had a little TikTok moment the past year or so. I was curious to if there felt like there was a pressure to ever write. I kind of phrase it as like a TikTok moment or another like there has to be a big moment in this song for it to work or something
I
like
think
that.
with this record we really didn't like try to focus on that. I
Okay.
know I did. I definitely was like we need to find one of these moments, and it's like we can't just kind of just pull these moments out. It
Hmm.
just has to happen. And that was a brutal truth that I had to accept. And then that's whenever I kind of just focused on just doing what I did with Amongst, and just really just try to dive in and do the best that I can. But also think about my personal goals.
For sure.
Because like my goals in Amongst Alone and Empty versus this record are two different worlds.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
being completely honest about it.
Yeah. I think in that
yeah,
case too, it's like you're writing from a different headspace. Like you
Yeah,
just said, it's like even like even if it's just kind of like realistically words, but like lyrically, it's like lyrically Amongst Low and Empty is something completely different from this album, To Rid Myself of the Truth. Um
truly it is. Because like Amongst the Low and Empty, it was just like a bunch of bangers on a record. Or
Hmm.
like I'd like to say our collective goal for this record to was write a better whole pieced record instead of just writing as many bangers as possible to see which one's gonna latch.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, just with like the
Definitely.
comparing the experiences, like us not really having anything going into Amongst Low and Empty, and us being quite prepared for To Rid Myself of Truth. I feel like that the goals were kind of different as a whole, because we were really trying to figure out like how can we make a name for ourselves for Century Media, the first major label, you know. And this
Yeah.
time around, we really just hate to speak for you, Bob, but like I really think that all of our opinions were we wanted to make a great record, instead of just a bunch of songs.
Yeah. And we it kind of like, we like the moment in Low and Empty, even that like didn't even come from, hey, we're gonna write a moment. It's like
Sure.
Yeah, like
it's
Yeah.
the
literally,
end of the song. Yeah, we wrote the whole
I thought that that song wasn't gonna do good at all, dude. Like I was
yeah.
like, yo, like we're cooked, bro.
Yeah. It was like we're writing a bunch of songs in the studio, and then we get to that one, and I'm like doing the end of it, and like the whole pattern, like the fast pattern, was like there, and then like Josh came into the room, and he's like, slow it down. I'm like, okay, and then so on the computer you have like a tempo map basically,
Hmm.
and so it was like to see how like the lowest I think my computer will let me go is to like 20 beats per minute or something. So it's like, how do we work it to that speed? Like, so it
Yeah.
just kind of became a game, and like there were a couple, you do a bit and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't sound good there. So
Yeah.
the trial and error thing. So you're like, okay, well, maybe does that work here? And you speed it down, slow it up. And by the end of it, we're just kind of laughing. And so you're like, okay, this is awesome. We need to do something with it. And then you
Would
get to vocals, and I think, so you don't really know at the time. I think those moments usually happen because like the energy in the room at that time was like, this is fun. It's kind of funny. It's just like hilariously heavy, whatever. But a lot of the time for me, when I sit, if I sit and I'm just like, I'm gonna write something hilariously heavy, it doesn't ever come out like that. It might come out cool or whatever, but it comes out different than
yeah,
usually the moments. So I found, and I also think a lot of the times you get bands that chase the TikTok thing, you end up writing the
for
same
sure.
song
Yup.
over, and over and over and over again. And it
How
might
many
hit,
people
and
tried sounding like Lorna throughout that whole year
exactly.
after To the Hellfire?
Yeah,
And that's a
no,
big reason why we did what we did, is because we actively went into the studio, especially working with the same producer, and being like, whatever those moments happen, like we want to do something different. And we want to try to go a different direction to be different. And um, but yeah, I found most of the time the cool shit comes from not really trying to make it cool at first.
yeah,
It's like just getting it out, like getting it out of your head. And then you kind of take it, and it's like, if you can turn that into a moment, cool.
for
I'm sure
sure.
there are people that can just spit it out and it's a banger. Like, and we kind of talk about this thing too. It's a weird thing because like think about like most mainstream successful bands, anything from like Linkin Park or Slipknot or whatever. It's like um, you get that, that signature sound, but not, it's not like every record sounds the same, like think about, I don't know, like Bleed It Out or whatever is this insanely massive, multi-billion stream song, but there's not another song they've ever done that sounds like that. It might be
Yeah,
similar. It sounds like the band, but it's like that thing. It's like if you chase that, you kind of put
yeah.
yourself into a hole. So
And I
we
think
try
all
to
of
just
so
do
I was
the band, and yeah,
yeah, for sure. I think just like kind of like what you said of like I feel like the best um moments are like they just come naturally and they just kind of happen. And I think too, it's like just from a listener's perspective, it's absolutely easy to tell when someone tries to go for those like TikTok moments. And after a while, it's just kind of like, I'm sure there's an audience for this.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get the
uh,
initial like, and
yeah,
like after that, it's just kind of like, well,
yeah,
See, I think that's what like kills off trends though, are all the dryhards. You know
mhm,
what I mean? Like I
yeah,
just saw like a few months ago, it just makes me think of like a trend killer. There is just like this band where it's just like,
Oh
and
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I
you
know
know
yeah,
what I'm,
exactly
you
what you're
know,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's just a trend killer. Like you think
yeah.
you're sick. There's some moments in there that are cool, but it's just like, what are
Now
you
it's a
doing?
joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now it's a joke. Yeah,
exactly.
you're
You
turning
know,
it into a
like
joke. Yeah,
you turn
and that's the
something that
thing.
was creative.
How far can you go? Like, like Lorna had the breakdown. We had a pretty big one around. We
Mhm.
got lucky doing it around the same time, and like it's how far can you go doing that before it's just like again it'll turn into the 2010 deathcore that people are doing now, or in 10 years it's like you're not going to really get that explosion of it again because it happened. So it's more about trying, you can either try to build on it and do something in your own way or try to do something totally different. And I think we always go into it trying to do something different and just like making it feel like the band. And
Yeah.
and then we have the moments. Sometimes it does work out. Like on this record, I don't think there's anything quite as blatantly as extreme. That's like the low and empty thing, but we carry that sound and that vibe into moments, and then you know we really had a lot of fun doing the ending of Sarkozine because we had like the rest of the song done and it just tapered off and we're like we need something stupid for
Yeah.
this,
Right.
or like Iron Sacrament, same thing, it kind of tapered off, and we knew we were going to get Phil in that
I'll be
song near the
back in
end, so
two
we're,
seconds. I'm so sorry.
oh,
Yeah,
you're
go
okay.
ahead.
Bleed this, Bob. Bleed it. I'll be back.
Yeah.
uh, and yeah, so we just kind of sit and then we think like you have the context of the rest of the song at that point.
Yeah,
So it's
for
like
sure.
how can you make something obscene and ridiculous and over the top, but that fits that vibe. And then it's you can't just force like, well, this needs a breakdown and it needs to be really
Yeah.
fast double bass and this, and sometimes I will do that and be like, oh, like this could be a good chance for that moment. You can try and try and try, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah. It's like
So then you have to find those take parts of the song and make it feel like the song.
yeah, for sure. And I think, I mean, like, I'll compare like Amongst Low and Empty just because like that song has the moment. And then the song we were talking about before, where it's like the song that we had before, that moment is funny in that song. The first time I heard that, I went, haha, that's pretty good. I don't want to listen to that as a song though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to go back and be like, time to listen to the 4 minutes of build up to this one part I think is really funny. Um, like Amongst Low and Empty, however,
Yeah.
is like a song. There's 3 minutes of really good material before the really good breakdown that is also pretty funny to listen to. And I think also like it's easy to tell like when people are just having fun with it and then compared to like, oh, they're chasing this TikTok moment and they're
Yeah.
chasing this big like just wait till you hear this. And it's just like this most incoherent, stupid thing anyone has ever heard. Um,
It's very important to us as a group, like in Josh, like us, to like just write good songs,
yeah,
regardless of whatever it didn't just serve the song and whatever it calls for. And it's like again, like sometimes that ends up being in something that like isn't in the wheel. Like we probably had another like 4 or 5 songs that I don't think we got around to doing vocals on that were like, well, yeah, it's cool parts, or
hmm,
maybe one of them might have had that moment or something, but it's like it just doesn't feel the same for whatever it is. There's something about,
yeah,
and that it all comes back to that like that intuition David's talking about is like you start to learn about yourself and this thing that you've built and this and that. That's like you just kind of feel it, and it's very hard to express that or to make anybody else feel it or for anybody else to understand it. But you just kind of know, and or sometimes you think or whatever,
yeah,
but yeah, it's you just kind of trust it.
yeah, for sure. And I think, I mean, even going back, I know you said before that like while there isn't anything as extreme on To Rid Myself of Truth, like you can still confidently say that those are good, like really good 11 to 12 songs, and
See,
they're
I
all
think that there are
songs.
those some moments in there like that
Yeah.
have that like Sarkozy.
I agree.
There's
Yeah.
multiple parts in like To Rid Myself of Truth. Like there's that
Yeah.
there's like that
Creator.
whole like Tom build up thing with like that sick death metal like howl thing I do.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I just feel like that there's so much going on right now that like I feel like whenever Amongst the Low and Empty took off, like I feel like that like the industry was really thirsty for something.
Mhm.
And there's a lot going on right now. And I feel like that might be a key element in those like TikTok moments where like
Yeah.
there's so much good stuff going on. Like we're following Whitechapel. Like they just put
Yeah.
out the best album of the year, in my opinion. Um, we're following like we're pretty much neck and neck on releasing songs with Lorna Shore that everybody was thirsty for just because they are Lorna Shore.
Mhm.
Um, I do believe that we had the luck of the timing of releasing that song where people can actually focus on what the song was.
For sure. I think
Yeah.
there's definitely like a heavy emphasis now on having, I think we've already kind of touched on this multiple times, but there is like a really heavy emphasis right now on for and pressure for bands to have like a big moment and to focus on like a specific part on the song rather than the actual song itself. Um,
Yes, totally
Well, it's so
lame.
hard. It's so
Yeah,
hard because, and because we are like content monsters. Like we post socials
yeah,
every, not like not always. Like Dave does pretty much every day. I don't do every day, but our band does like every day. And you can literally see the attention spans of people on your stuff. Like almost you know, every video, it's like maybe 10% of the people watch a whole 45-second long reel.
mm-hmm.
Maybe 30% of them watch more than 15 seconds.
Yeah, dude.
And
Whenever I first started making content, like I saw that like if I weren't grabbing them within the first 2 seconds of that reel, it's pointless.
yeah, most people, I mean, we all do it, but you're just scrolling and if it doesn't immediately grab you, scroll the next one, whatever it might be. But, you think in music, it's like, well, it's music, like it's something special about it, but it's like the world we're living, it's kind of,
oh, sure.
so basically, and we even have like full transparency, like when we have a single or something that's really like a song that we're going to put out, um, it's something we have to think about, even if it's, you know, like our favorite song from the record. But if that song, if we're going to run a YouTube ad for it, if it doesn't immediately start with like a groove, a breakdown, or a vocal, it's straight up not going to work. Like people are not going to click on that ad because
Mm-hmm.
you're just gonna waste money throwing it into the void, even though the song might be the best song on the record or whatever it is. So you have to kind of play these games, and it's like we try really hard to not fall into that world of like, well, we're going to do this because of that. But then when you get kind of start to wrap up an album and you're looking at the songs you have and like what you really like, and then you kind of have to make those educated decisions on, what's going to grab somebody out the
Yeah.
gate. Like, we all loved the song "Atmosphere Me," and a part of that was like, as soon as that song starts, it's just vocal in your face, and that's insane. It's like, we know that people are going to hear that and be like, oh, wow, immediately. You kind of have to have that. So, but yeah, it's just different. Like these games you kind of have to play, but you never know. So, you
Yeah.
know, when you're trying to write songs and maybe write like a 4 minute epic that might be the coolest song you've ever wrote, it's probably going to be the song the least amount of people ever hear, unfortunately. So,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
yeah,
I kind of get that from a less extreme example and even just doing interviews and then trying to make a clip for said interview. It's like now I have to search for like the Amongst the Low and Empty equivalent of this like
Trust, dude.
an
Like
hour
I
long
go through
interview.
debates with my manager. Like I'll be like, no, dude, that's not the part. And he's like, no, it's totally the part. And then like Carl and Mike will jump in and they'll be like, no, dude, that's the part. And then I'm just like, are you sure? Like, we really got to think about this, dude. Like,
yeah. And even when it is a really good one, still almost all the time you never get anybody to watch more than 10 seconds, even if it's I mean, I'm willing to bet even the Lorna video, and like these huge, massive bands, you do the most you can, you're the biggest band in the world. Even then, most people aren't going to watch your stuff more than 10 seconds. You're going to look at it, like it, scroll. So that I think, plagues a lot of this kind of world. So I think just being able to write something that you like and you're happy with it and it's cool and it's you can listen to it and be proud of it. It's like because
Yeah.
banking on anything else is like you have to play the game to an extent, and we do play the game to an extent, but
We
you
do
also
stay
have
true
to
though.
exactly that's the thing. You gotta stay true to it. You have your moments where you can be like, try this, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like again, circling way back is you're gonna probably play that song 1,000 times. So if you did this thing because you thought it would pop off and it didn't pop off, and then you have to play it 1,000 times because and you didn't love it, it's like now you're stuck playing it, right? So do
Yeah.
what you
Oh.
do it do what you want to do, make informed decisions, and hopefully that works out. And it's been really cool with this record for people. Like now that it's out, we can talk about it more. As people, you hear the first five songs, 6 songs, and it's like, yeah, this sounds like like what I'm expecting to hear from this band. And you have these, moments that are maybe a little different here or there. And then as people, it's really cool to see people watching videos of people listening to these songs as you get to the back half, and they're like, wow, like this is, blowing me away. I didn't expect
Oh yeah.
this, but it's great. And maybe it's, I might like this. Some people might even like that more than the songs that we put all the singles up, near the
Hmm.
front and stuff. It's like, it's cool for us to be able to do that, even if it's not like the bank breaking moment, but for someone to come in and be like, it's, I don't know. I think that will last just as long as something like Low and Empty to somebody that, takes the time to find it.
See, like I definitely like from you talking about like watching people like kind of go through the record. There's that one album review that I just watched recently that Brad sent in the chat, and
Mm,
like it was the first time that I actually sat down and watched the full album review for us. And other than like I'd skim through it, you know what I mean? Like, they're talking shit, you know. But like this one, like it made me like kind of like learn a little bit about myself, like seeing the perception of somebody else. And
yeah,
I
I know
like
which one you're talking about because the kid, he
dude with
said
the
he
long
hadn't
hair.
heard it. Yeah, he's like, I haven't listened to any of these singles, but I love the band. We have been
Yep.
waiting, and just like it was so gratifying to see somebody go through the process because like we put the songs together, when we're done writing, like some of them we plan to put together, but generally it's at the end we're like, okay, how are we going to space these to make them feel the best?
Sure.
Because we like listening to albums, and then to see that happen through somebody's eyes, and like somebody that actually really cares about music, cares about the band, is like that's it for me. Like that's like
Yeah,
the best compliment that I could
it
get.
was very gratifying, dude. Like,
Yeah.
because
It's
like you
like, oh,
really
you
don't.
got it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
You're
just
like, you
like,
get it.
dude,
Thank you.
finally someone
Yeah.
dapped me
Yeah.
up. Like,
Yeah. You're like, you get it. Thank you. Like you actually listen to a record. Congratulations. Like that needs like a badge these days. Like, oh, you just
right.
put on a song on the next one. Like, congratulations, you got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think especially like my first time listening back, I think by the time I got to Fear and Judgment, hearing like a borderline like industrial song, I was like, what's going on? Like this isn't
Yeah.
what I was expecting.
That's that Fear Factory influence, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. It's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, I think we were debating on like Knocked Loose albums, and I was like, I like Tearing the Fabric of Life, and they were like, I don't like that album, but I really haven't listened to, all the way through. And I was like, then don't tell me you don't like it because you haven't listened to it all the way through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got
Or
a point.
even just like I think they also mentioned like their laugh tracks and was just like I like that album, but like I listened to these like 4 songs on repeat. I'm like,
Yeah,
well
see,
then
I
That's the
definitely feel
thing.
like that's like a singles album in my opinion because I love
mhm.
Yeah.
Knocked Loose. I've been following them since they were playing small shows to like 10 people, man. I've been following that band since they first popped up on that blog site. I can't remember to save my life right now, but they popped up the Pitbull record EP, like
Mhm.
all my friends are so full of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, dude.
I actually re-listened to Laugh Tracks the other day, and I disagree. I think the album is awesome, and there's some deep cuts that don't get talked
There
about
are
enough.
some fairly good deep
There's
cuts,
some
but I think it's a good.
Yeah,
I think it's an album of songs of how I think of like How Amongst the Low and Empty is, where it's a
Mhm.
bunch of bangers on a record. Like
Sure.
for,
yep.
Okay.
I think it's Into the Blue or whatever it is after that.
Oh,
What is
A
it?
Different Shade of Blue.
That's what it is. Yes, like
Yes,
that. I feel like that they made a great record,
I agree. I
like a
think
great record.
I
I'm
Yeah.
think
terrible with names, so thanks for that save. I was
of
literally
course.
looking it up just to make sure that I was right.
I think A Different Shade of
Yeah.
Blue is like they're getting into making albums because that has like a clear
Exactly.
structure, and then they nailed it with, I know it's not technically an album, it's an EP. I don't care. Tearing the Fabric of Life is
Yeah,
like
no, that's flawless in
perfect.
my
Like that's a
opinion.
perfect album. And
Yeah.
Honestly,
then
even with all the visuals that they did with it, it just
mhm.
everything was flawless. Knock
Yeah, no.
Loose is one of my favorite bands.
Oh, same.
Um,
I love that band. I think they're great.
yeah, like
I think
Yeah.
seriously, like I'm so privileged to say that their sound engineer is my friend, so I just get the best seat in the house to watch their show.
Some of
No, that's
literally the
awesome.
most insane thing that I've ever experienced in my entire life was watching them at Hellfest. It was
I couldn't imagine.
Dude, I
I
had a
just
front row seat to the wall of death, dude. Like, because like I had a barrier in front of me, so like I'm standing on the barrier with my phone up over my head, and
yep.
like I just watch an army of people just obliterate each other right in front of my eyes in real time. Like, oh man, so it's great.
It's
Oh no,
moments like
that's
that, like that's
awesome.
the stuff that reminds me like why we do this stuff. Like it's, outside of the playing and obviously like the gratification of getting to play music to people and travel and express yourself, like standing there and seeing that and like feeling that, like one, it's just like the volume and the power of it, but like it's just a whole nother, it's insane. Like
Yeah,
they're on
for
top of the
sure.
world. It's insane. Like it literally makes me laugh. Like we've probably spent 40 minutes laughing, just looking at each other and laughing. Like this is unreal.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the album thing, like that, yeah, like it's just another level. I feel like it's another. Where do you go? You want to keep. You can keep making this singles and albums and do that thing, but I don't know. It's just something. There's something special
Yeah.
about putting on an album, and it takes you on a ride, and it surprises you, and it's fun and it just feels good, man. It just feels good, and yeah, that if I had the name, I would shout them out. But that reaction video, and I never watched the stuff either. I don't. I'm not a comment person. Like I don't do that kind of thing. Like
That shit
it's
breaks me.
that's the thing. Like, yeah, I think it would. I think it would. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's two sides of it. It's good to do and know what people like and don't like and expect for you in this kind of thing. But also, like, yeah, it can really get to you. And I had a moment a while ago where I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna not think about it anymore because it was getting to me really bad. And but so yeah, I actually sat and watched that whole one like the day after the album came out because the kid just seemed like somebody I would hang out with. I was like, this is cool. And yeah, but it's just so
I gotta
satisfying
say,
to
that
actually.
dude like shouted out Mike's bass tone more than anything on the
Oh my
entire
god, yeah, he's
ride.
like
And you
one
know
thing
what?
I
That
love.
made Mike go watch it.
I loved because I watched another one, the one you sent to the chat the other, that was
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
that
It was
that was
yeah,
funny, dude.
but yeah, but so that was like a shorter, like 15-minute whatever. So I skimmed through that, and I love these things because people like that would be like, oh, I really like the record, but it's like it's a little overproduced for my style. Like it's kind of like a modern metal trope now. And then you go somebody else like that, and and this dude's like, oh, it's so raw, like it's so raw. The production is made, like all this stuff. So it's just everybody has these super strong feelings, and then it could be completely the opposite end of the spectrum. And it just goes back to like, just make something cool and do something you like, and trust yourself, and you know,
Yeah, for sure. And then I've kept you guys for almost 2 hours now. I don't want to
Honestly,
take
that's
up
how
any
you
of your
know it's a
time.
good interview because it's
Yeah,
only
Yeah,
felt like
I'm not
40
mad
minutes,
about it.
I
dude.
was gonna say
Trust.
I didn't even
Yeah,
notice the time until right now. I looked down and
yeah.
went, "Oh no!" I
Like
do.
low key, I had to run away because I had to pee so bad.
Yo, I'm not even gonna cap. I got Alien Earth coming on in 15 minutes. It's a good night for me, man. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have
This is
one
great.
quick question. I've heard in another interview that David likes to cook in his free time as like a little
Oh
hobby.
yeah,
So,
that's my gravy. Bobby be helping me all the time in the kitchen too.
in that case, I was gonna ask, Bobby, what's your favorite meal that David has made for the band?
Ooh, yeah, I want to know this one.
Man, that's a good question.
Because like studio time, I'm usually the dad in the kitchen.
Yeah. Honestly, the best one, I can't remember exactly what it was, but one of the ones that like lives in my head as a great moment just outside of like the meal was we had Damien when we were in Europe in 2023 and we got that B&B and you know, you just destroyed that kitchen in the best way. I don't even remember what we had
I
exactly,
remember that
but
it was a
it was like
roasted chicken with peppers.
potatoes.
Yep.
Yeah. And I just like sitting on that roof. Like, we were like somewhere in Germany, like Nuremberg or something. It was Nuremberg, yeah.
Yeah.
And we sat like on a roof, you
With a
know.
fake grass on it. It was super
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. There was like a TV outside and like a dinner table and all this, and that was just like one. Yeah, the food was amazing. So props.
That's
I ate
awesome.
so much, but just like the vibe, like that's such a
Mhm.
unique, like all the studio food is awesome too. Like we made so much
Yeah,
great
that
food in this.
Korean chicken I made, that was probably
Oh
my favorite thing
yeah,
I made that during that session,
we
probably.
would just we would take. I mean, David like 90% of the cooking, but we'd kind of take turns and do like like I'm gonna make everybody breakfast and I because I we both love cooking and like
Mhm.
God bless our bass player. He literally couldn't make a grilled cheese sandwich and he knows it. And Carl like he comes up with like the most like not so much anymore, but like these like stoner like fried
Dude,
rice
that
cheese balls.
yeah, like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's amazing.
he did that. He made like infused caramel.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
that sounds
crazy.
really good. Oh my God.
Like
It was it was.
I was
I got drugged.
honestly mind blown to be honest, because like I was like, bro, where did you get
So
this?
you guys made lemon bars one night,
Yeah, and
and
then he
I
like made a
didn't
creme
know.
brulee.
I didn't. So he was like, because like they made some stuff while we were in the studio. I'm like, cool,
Mhm.
whatever. And the one day he's just like, I want lemon bars. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I took him to the store and we came with lemon bars. And then I woke up at like 2 in the morning and I just wanted a snack. And I went down and just ate a lemon bar. I had no idea. And I woke up and that whole next day I was out. I couldn't do it. And luckily I didn't have to do anything that day, but
Yeah,
I
you
didn't even
weren't just
drive
like
or
you
nothing.
were slumped, homie.
Yeah, I didn't even drive to the studio that day. I think somebody else drove my car, and I was just like, because like I stopped smoking a while ago. Like I will a little bit here and there or whatever, but
Mhm.
like I haven't smoked heavy in a long time. I definitely haven't had edibles in a long time. And so I was like, yeah, that back in the day I could have handled it. And I woke up and I was like, I think I'm gonna die, right? Like I woke up like because I've had enough experience, I'll say, to like I've had this happen before, and I remember waking up and I sat up, and within like 3 seconds, I knew exactly what happened to me. Like I sat up, and I was like, and I just like all the pieces clicked together over the course of like 10 seconds, and I was like, "That's what it was.
Oh,
Oh, that's
I'm
oh
done."
awesome.
Yeah,
no.
I'm like, oh no, oh
That's
no. But yeah, so the soup is great, but yeah, we're kind of stuck in a box. That's the
In the
thing too.
middle of
When you're up there,
nowhere.
yes, in a dead of winter, we're in a just a B&B with nothing on the walls except for a painted picture of a chicken.
Oh,
And then you go to the studio and you're just stuck in a box there too,
oh
which
my
is like,
God.
you can't really. It's so cold you can't go outside and do anything. So
Oh,
you just
that
have
sounds
those
awesome.
days where it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna be. I think I sat and played my Switch like all day that day. So I don't even remember what I did, but it was brutal. But yeah, there's some great meals, man.
No, that's
We
awesome.
we are food people. Like I
yeah.
think when we're on the road, we know we're near something that
Mhm.
we like. It's like we will do even if it's like if we have to drive overnight to like get into town early so we can have something like we'll do it.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a favorite food spot?
It
Just
depends on
anywhere?
what part of the world we're in, man. Because like if
Mhm.
we're in
Yeah.
Germany, like we're fighting to get the Burgermeister. If we're like, well, some of us, if we're on the West Coast, like me, for example, I'm fighting to get In and Out. I
Oh yeah.
love In and Out. I
Oh,
don't
I
know what
had
it is about it. It's just
Yeah.
sick.
no, I had In-N-Out the first time last May, and I can't explain why I like it so much because whenever I explain it to other people, they're just like, yeah, that sounds like every other burger. I'm
It's
like, yeah,
not.
but like it's good.
If
It's
their
so
fries were a
good.
little
Yeah.
bit thicker, it'd be the best burger spot ever.
No,
But
Yeah.
for
their
sure.
fries are just like subpar. But
Yeah.
this all
It's
the
funny,
mess
man.
that's on top of it, though.
My wife just asked me like last night before, she's like, "What's your favorite place to eat in like in the country?" I'm like, then I literally started going state by state because I couldn't pick. So I'm like,
Yeah, like
well, we go.
Texas rodeo goat.
That's what I told her. I said burrito go. I was like, we go to Austin. There's two taco trucks right next to each other. The
The
best thing in
tortas.
the world.
Oh, the
Yes,
tortas.
the tortas. Like when we go to Atlanta, we play Masquerade. There's this old lady that makes quesadillas and burritos right outside of the venue for like $10. Like, there's
And
just all
Mr.
these
Fry
niche little
Guys.
things. Exactly, I said that too. Yeah, Mr. Fry Guy, like, which has definitely gone downhill the last couple of
Oh
years.
yeah. Whenever it first started, it was
Yeah, when we
Apex.
first found it, we were like, "Yo." But yeah, there's so much I could literally go all day about the food that we've had because it's like it's easier to remember the food than like the shows because this is all we do
Sure,
these
I get
same
that.
venues and show all the time. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. I totally get that. And again, don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'm just going to leave you. I'm going to open up the floor, shout out whatever you want. If you have any tours coming up, plug whatever you'd like.
Um, I am very stoked for our biggest headliner to date. All of our numbers from our previous headline have doubled. So I'm very excited to see all the fans and new fans that we got for this upcoming headliner with Mental Cruelty, 1056, Carcosa, and Face Yourself. And I am beyond stoked to return to the stage with Chelsea Grin out in Europe. I'm stoked to be supporting a tour out there instead of doing a bunch of headline stuff. So I'm very excited to kind of like have a chill version of Europe. Headlining out in Europe's such a headache. Just so much responsibility in another country. It's overwhelming at times.
Sure.
it's nice to just wake up and play.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like
Yeah,
it's like, oh, we got a sound
yeah,
check in 2 hours. Okay, that's cool. We'll see. We'll go get lunch. We'll be
yeah.
back.
Yeah, man. I always just
Um,
tell people because we're always on tour. Like we are literally always on tour. We have a website, signsoftheswarm.com. It's easy. We got our albums out. We still have, some vinyl left, some really cool vinyl if you're a vinyl person, anything like that, if you collect even if you're not into the music, they just look awesome. So, if you're at all interested by this chat we had, check out our website because everything is there.
absolutely.
And we're always on tour. So if you're like, I can't, I have finals, whatever, like just look, keep an eye out, because we're around. And next year we're always talking like a year in advance, and we've already are planning for stuff next year. So just keep an eye out.
Yeah, awesome. Again, thank you so much, guys, for doing this. Anyone listening, you have no excuse to get off this right now and listen to the album in full. Do so if you haven't checked it out. Do it if you have checked it out. Do it again. Listen to the album as many times as you like.
Do
Uh,
it.
do it, please. Yeah, thank you again so much for doing this, guys.
Thanks for having us. Like, honestly, this was probably one of the upper tier interviews at fun level. So, really appreciate it, dude.
Thank you. I
Yeah, it was nice to
appreciate
chat.
it. Thank you.